Cruises are a magical mix of vacation ease and endless options. Someone else cooks your meals, someone else cleans your room, and someone else takes you to beautiful places all while you sip a drink under the sun. But here's the thing. Cruises are also quite strategic. One or two rookie errors and your smooth sailing turns into a week of "why didn't anyone warn me" type moments. So, before you board that ship with dreams of paradise, here are 10 cruise ruining mistakes you'll want to avoid, along with tips that'll probably have you cruising like a pro by the end. Number 1. Arriving at the port the day of your cruise. You could fly into your departure city the morning your ship sails, but you're essentially betting your entire vacation on airlines, on weather, and, God forbid, traffic behaving perfectly. One flight delay, and your ship won't wait. Those gangways close right on time. Suddenly, you're booking last-minute flights to the first port of call at 3 times the price. Arrive at least a day early. Enjoy a stress-free hotel stay. And maybe even explore the departure city. You'll start your cruise rested and not frazzled. I like the fact that the cruise capital of the world seems to be Miami nowadays. Miami has so much culture, has so many things you can do and see, so many things you can experience prior to a cruise. I like to go out of my way and really enjoy the culture in Miami. There's so much rich history there, and there are a lot of really awesome tours. So if that's something that interests you, I say book an extra day ahead of time in Miami and then show up to that ship ready to have a great time. To follow, forgetting travel documents. It's the oldest cruise disaster story in the book. We got to the terminal and realized my passport was sitting on the kitchen counter. Without proper ID, you're not boarding. Even closed-loop cruises that start and end in the same U.S. port require very specific documentation. Keep your passport, your boarding pass, and any required visas in a travel wallet or a pouch that never leaves your carry-on. And yes, check it again before you leave home. I don't know about you, but I'm one of those people who probably checks any time I get a chance throughout my travel journey from home to the port. I probably check, 50 times or more, just to make sure that I haven't lost any of my documentation. I haven't lost anything, that it's all still there. Even though I know I haven't touched it, well, someone else could have touched it. Even though the bag's been with me the entire time, I don't know. I need to make sure that it's still there. I get very sort of OCD around my documentation being with me while I travel. But I think that's a good way to be. If you just sort of assume it is there, well, that's when you lose it, right? So make sure that you are obsessive when it comes to ensuring your documentation is with you at all times. To follow that, overpacking like you're moving in. I think we've all seen it. Passengers wrestling with 3 giant suitcases for a 7-day cruise. Not only will your stateroom storage be cramped, but unpacking and repacking, it becomes a chore. And who wants to do that? Pack versatile clothing you can re-wear in different combinations. I do this all the time when I take cruises. And that's mainly because, and if you've heard me say this before, I apologize for repeating myself, but I think it's a very helpful way to travel. I only cruise with a backpack full of stuff, and sometimes a computer bag on the side. I have to have it with me at all times. I do not check luggage. I just don't trust the systems out there anymore, because when you have to trust those systems, there's a lot of room for potential error or delay. And so I pack everything, no matter how long my cruise is, into a backpack or computer bag. And therefore, getting versatile clothing that you can re-wear in different combinations is pretty darn helpful. So skip the just-in-case extras, and remember that most ships offer laundry services, or there are even self-serve laundromats on certain ships. And leave room in your suitcase for souvenirs, because you know you're coming back with at least one, right? I always do. I always make sure I've got a little extra wiggle room so that I can squeeze something in to bring back to some of my loved ones from wherever it is that I'm traveling next. Next up, ignoring the daily planner. Cruise ships run on schedules, and the fun is knowing what's happening and when. If you never glance at the daily schedule or app, you'll miss out on unique activities. Cooking classes, for example, behind the scenes tours sometimes are included. Ice carving demos, boy, are those fun. And that karaoke night where someone absolutely nails Bohemian Rhapsody. Spend 5 minutes each morning reviewing the day's offerings and highlight your must-do events. Even if you change your mind later, you'll never say, wait, there was a chocolate buffet and I missed it. You'll be able to know that it's coming your way. I spend quite a lot of time the night before, because often that is when your steward will put the paper document in your room with everything that might be happening the next day. I spend a little bit of time the night before going through, checking it out, because sometimes things happen in the morning. Now, most cruise ships, they push the good stuff to later in the day because they know you probably want to sleep in. But I've seen some really great classes relating to, like physical things that you can do, right? Morning yoga classes, morning stretching type things that if you are not prepared to take a look at your schedule planner the night before, you're going to miss that if you are sleeping in or if you just happen to get up at the wrong time. So definitely take a look at that daily planner in advance or start your day with it. After that, skipping hand washing. Let's be real here. Ships carry thousands of people in very close quarters. I still get comments on videos from people who don't cruise who are like, you couldn't pay me to cruise. Floating petri dishes, brah. And I'm like, why are you watching videos about cruising? Why are you doing that? But I see it all the time. I see comments like that, but they're right. I mean, we are in situations. We put ourselves in situations going on board where we are surrounded by thousands of others and lots of germs, right? So that is why I'm so grateful when I go onto a ship and I see just constant cleaning. Right? They're cleaning all the time. They're wiping everything down constantly. But this has to extend to you too. Think about it. Close quarters, lots of people, add buffets and shared spaces, and you've got an environment where germs thrive. The norovirus stories you've heard, they're real, and they still happen to this day. No matter how hard teams work, these still happen. So wash your hands often, especially before eating. Use hand sanitizer when sinks aren't nearby, and yes, those hand washing stations at the buffet, they're not just decoration. Please go clean your hands. Following that up by saying, blowing the budget on day one. Probably not a good idea, right? Cruise cards can be very dangerous. They're your room key, onboard credit tracker, and all access pass to spending money you technically can't see disappearing. It's shockingly easy to rack up charges on day one, leaving you with a nasty surprise at the end. Set a mental or maybe a literal daily budget. Track your spending through the cruise line's app or guest services desk so you're not blindsided at the end. I know a lot of in-room, in-cabin TVs nowadays even have like a direct link to your folio so you can look that up nightly on your TV to see like, okay, what did I spend today? What am I on the hook for at the end of this thing? I've also used that to catch the fact that sometimes they're charging me things that I did not buy, I did not purchase, and it was an accident. Somebody else ended up saying my cabin number at a bar, and they ended up charging me for something that I never purchased. And so I had to dispute that at guest services, and they took it right off. But that's one of those things where it can happen to you. So keep your eye on your folio, keep your eye on the app, because oftentimes they are connected, those two, and you're able to see it as you go. Next, skipping shore excursion research. Look, that beach day you booked might actually be a 90-minute bus ride each way with 40 other people. Or worse, you might miss the real gem of the port because you didn't know it existed. read excursion reviews, watch the YouTube vlogs before you book. Really dig deep. Whether you go through the cruise line or you go through the independent operators in the region, know exactly what's included and how much free time you'll have. I have been in situations like this where, even with research, I thought I had a really good understanding as to what I was doing. Dominican Republic comes to mind, where we had a lot of things we were going to be doing that day, but to get to the things that needed to begin, it was this exact situation where we were on like a 45-minute, hour-long bus ride just to get to the right beach that we needed to be at for the boat launch. That took us another 30 minutes to get out to this destination in the middle of the ocean. And don't get me wrong, it was amazing once we got there, but we wasted the majority of the day in a bus, just traveling to get to these locations. And then when we got to the actual locations themselves, we had such a short amount of time, everybody was complaining. Everybody was really bent out of shape because it was like, well, wait a minute, hold on. Like, I would have just rather, come straight to one of these destinations and stayed all day. That's all I need. That's all I want. So that can easily happen to you. Like I said, I researched it. I thought I had a good understanding, and still I was surprised. So look at more than one source. That's what I always say. Look for more than just one review. And some people have bad experiences while others have great experiences. Also take it with a grain of salt. But if you see a trend where everybody is saying very similar things, okay, then you've got real actionable data where you can go, all right, this looks like a problem, or this looks like something I need to be aware of before I put my hard-earned money down to go on this excursion. Definitely something you should not be skipping. To follow that, I think ignoring drink package math is going to be something I'm going to share. Drink packages, they're a hot topic in cruise planning, and for good reason. Some swear by them, and others think they're a money trap. If you buy one without doing the math, you might feel pressured to overconsume just to get your money's worth. And I get that. But many lines nowadays, they've set this sort of magical number. I don't know how they've come up with it, but most lines I'm seeing now with that set limit is usually at 15, is what I keep hearing. 15 across a lot of cruise lines. That is as many drinks as you can consume in a day. Now, you're welcome to buy more beyond the package at that point, but 15 is where they cut you off. I say look at the daily cost, factor in port days, when you'll be off the ship. You're not going to be drinking very much, right? Because you don't have access to those drinks when you're off the ship. And be realistic about your drinking habits. Sometimes pay as you go saves hundreds of dollars. I've said it many times here. I don't drink a lot in my normal life. I definitely don't drink very much when I go on a cruise. And so I forego these drink packages 9 times out of 10, at least the ones with alcohol in them. Now, cruise lines have gotten wiser to this, and so now they offer like soda packages or packages that include coffees but no alcohol, zero proof packages as some of them call them. I will say I will do those from time to time if it makes economic sense, right? If I think I'm going to be utilizing it to its full ability, I will go ahead and maximize my beverage consumption and just order them anywhere I go. Anywhere I go at any time. If I see a bar, I stop and get one and, drink down my Sprite Zero or drink down my specialty coffee or my smoothie that often comes as part of these packages. So make sure it's worth the cost to you. Otherwise, you are going to be spending a small fortune that will absolutely expand that price tag overall in the end for your cruise. Next up, not packing seasickness remedies. Even if you've never been seasick, there's always a chance your stomach will stage a protest. Ocean conditions, they change, and fast, and one rough night can have you regretting every decision you've made. Pack motion sickness bands, Dramamine, ginger chews, or even prescription patches if you need them. It's better to have them and not need them than to spend your cruise lying in bed with the curtains closed. I feel fortunate now. I've gotten to a point where I guess I've maybe cruised enough that I've earned my sea legs. Literally, I feel like I do not feel the ocean anymore, even when the ship is rocking. I'm like, is this what crew members feel like? Because they're on ships so much, it just doesn't bother them anymore. But I've finally gotten to that point where No amount of rocking and rolling really bothers me anymore. But there was a period in the very beginning of my cruising where, yeah, it got bad and I got sick and I had to get the little patches to help me with that. Now, oftentimes guest services will have some of these on hand. Sometimes they're included, sometimes they're not, and they, send you on over to the onboard store. But save your money, because those are usually, if you have to buy them in the onboard store, those are like super expensive because it's the convenience of it. Bring your own. And just have them on hand again in case you need them. Especially if you go during times of the year like hurricane season, fully expect that you'll need them because the wave range and just how intense the sea can be at those points. They're never going to sail you into a hurricane, but it's the residual bands and the impact of the hurricane at a distance that can sometimes really get your ship rocking. So definitely something to think about. And finally, being that passenger. Every cruise has one, don't they? The person who hogs pool loungers all day, cuts in buffet lines, or treats the crew like personal servants. Look, word gets around, and your vacation vibe can turn frosty faster than the ice in your pina colada. Be courteous, be patient, and remember that the crew is here to help. They're not to be mistreated. Good manners and gratitude go a long way on the high seas. A cruise should be smooth sailing, not a string of preventable headaches. A little preparation, some common courtesy, and a dash of self-awareness are all you need to avoid these pitfalls. That way, the only drama on your cruise will be in the nightly stage show, and not in your vacation story. Speaking of cruise mistakes, I probably made one when I got off the Carnival Miracle at a port in Mexico recently. If you are interested in seeing exactly what happened to me, check out that video on the right. Or for other cruise tips and tricks, check out that video on the left. And we'll see you next time on The Solo Cruiser.